String Studio VS-2 has a dedicated vibrato module found in the performance controls here on the play page, and this is great for adding some pitch oscillation to long notes. So this is kind of like a dedicated LFO that's set to modulate pitch, and it's kind of like a sine wave. So we set the speed of it here, and it's not something that you want to sync to tempo. You kind of want it to be slow, oscillating, and kind of do it by feel. So we dial the speed over there and then the amount of it that we want here. Now I've got a sustained guitar sound. I'm going to play you a note with everything off here, and you'll hear it straight with no vibrato. Now I'll dial this up to a moderate amount there, or moderate rate, and I'll dial the amount up and you'll hear the pitch vibrato kick in. So let me dial it to the extreme amount just so you can understand and get a taste of the flavor of this when we change the rate. So you can get spacey kind of effects. But slower like that with less of amount is more of a musical application. So it's subtle. I'm going to play you a little part here with the lead sound, and you can hear the influence of this as I adjust the controls. Now another thing we can do is delay the onset. Instead of having that pitch oscillation start right at the note on, we can add an offset here. So again, let me just dial it up more to an extreme value to illustrate how this works. So I'll delay the onset, in this case by 23 milliseconds. So you hear the pause until it kicks in. And then when it does kick in, we can have it fade rather than start abruptly. It'll fade up. And the longer the fade, of course, the longer it'll take to ramp up, which is good if you have a part with some notes that are short and some are long, and you want this to affect the longer notes more than the shorter ones. Like with this part, and this should work nicely. So that's nice in that it's subtle and affecting the longer notes and not right at the beginning of the long notes, but fading in as they're sustained. Now we have a mod wheel knob here that we can dial up to have the mod wheel influence the amount. So as we dial this up, the more influence the mod wheel is going to have over the amount of the vibrato, and it's always in relation to this value here. So let me dial this up and I'll move my mod wheel, and you can see a representation of it here as well as here. So that's great for a kind of performance control where maybe when you're playing you want to use your mod wheel to increase or decrease the vibrato as the part is going, or as you're playing it in even. So here I have a degree of control in addition to what's being used here. Now when I'm going to use the mod wheel like this, it's probably a good idea to not have the fade and delay, since that's basically what you're doing manually with the mod wheel. So let me try that again. So that way you can not only fade up, but you can fade down the amount of modulation. If a note is sustaining for a while, you can have it ramp up and then ramp back down, all through the playing gesture of using your mod wheel. So that's the vibrato section.